Yeah, looking forward to playing hopefully this week. I think Colorado's kind of been through their little break, and we seem to be getting closer to healthy. And we'll head out there and hopefully get these two games in. And an odd break, obviously, but it's been odd for everybody.
Jamie, go ahead.
Morning, Coach. How are you?
Great.
Good to hear. So I guess just kind of on that, you guys are out of protocol. You guys are ready to play, even if it's a little shorthanded this week.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the disappointing part, and just nothing you do about it. We had two guys that really had symptoms, but the whole protesting and everything, that people got swept up in it. But I think that's par for everyone right now.
And then do you expect to have everyone, or the guys that'll still be missing for this week?
I maybe it should be. I think we're close to. We'll need. We'll know something today. But if anything, it's one short.
Who would that be?
I'm not sure.
Okay, fair enough. You guys obviously the last time we saw it's been kind of a rough ride. Just a lot of really close losses. Do you think that maybe getting this couple weeks off is just kind of a good refresh? Guys get to see their families. They get to kind of reset their minds and then get ready for Pac-12 play.
I think, yeah, mentally, my biggest concern is, we got some guys that only had one or two practices since December 22nd, just because of protocols and stuff. So, it's kind of reboot in general. You really can't add new stuff or work on stuff that, late game situation. We worked some on defensive stops, and we've been working on situations, and I've been here before as a coach, and we need one of those close ones. Just get our confidence in better spot. We're working, whether it's getting a good shot late or even getting a good stop. We've had games that we could have won with a stop. So, I thought we rehashed this last week, Jamie. I mean, I'm kidding.
I wasn't on here last week.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't on here last week.
All right. That's what it was.
And then just, these two places really above anywhere else in the pack have just kind of, been a house of horrors, even long before you got here. I think the last time Washington State won in Salt Lake City, John Huntsman was like 9 years old. What is it going to, is there a psychological aspect to these two places that kind of get into you guys' heads? Whether it's this team, whether it's prior teams, or is it something you guys have to just kind of shut out and just focus on playing 40 minutes and just, beating the team on the floor?
You got to definitely have to just focus, try to tune that stuff out. And there's definitely an advantage of playing at altitude that's documented, just the number of being the analytics. But at the same time, I'll tell you the biggest hindrance at Colorado is they're the 8th best team in the country last year. So the 8th best team, according to Ken Palm, whatever, I know they ended up ranked. So they're just a good team, and playing at home, it's hard to beat them. And Coach Boyle's done a really nice job of building the program. No different this year. There's just a little inexperienced, a little younger, but they're moving the right direction. So it's tough in conference, went on the road, and they built some. I remember playing at Colorado when I was at St. Mary's, and there was no fans, no one there. Now they got a nice little atmosphere, and Utah's had a better history of the basketball program going back. Coach Majera, even prior to that, I think they're way up there, and so they're just two tough places to play. And Colorado's really made a great hire. How many years ago it was? 12. I don't know when Tad got that job, and they're really good.
And then last thing, just looking at KenPom, you guys are 347 in luck. One of bottom 10 in that category. Is there, to some degree, do you just, it's like the bounces aren't going your way, or is it you kind of believe you got to make your own luck and that number will rise as you hit a couple late shots?
We got to get better. You got to work. You got to address your issues. And, he uses the luck factor, and I hate to say this, I've been on both ends of that on the luck factor, and it can swing a season a little bit. Like I said, 1 year at Columbia, we had a good similar deal. We had a young team we beat Villanova by 18 that year. And then we got some hard luck losses, and we had to fight our way through it, and really clicked in the next year. I want to make it happen this year. So I've been there before. We end up being a 21 win team the next year, 25 the year after, or 2 years after that. So we popped through that. So I'd like to you utilize that experience as a head coach to get this group better there. But I agree, there's some of the funny bounces, and you got to make your own breaks. So you got to, I think when you play hard, you compete hard, and you're willing to get on the floor for loose balls, little plays, and that stuff, which we've been better. But you got to make your plays.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Jamie.
Colton, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Great, Colton. How you doing?
Great, thank you very much. Could you walk us through your kind of protocols for return? Is it a little bit of a quicker process now with the updated guidelines from several days ago?
To be very blunt and honest, I don't even try to figure it out. I just go to Dr. Henry and she just tells me green light or red light because things have changed. And I know the Pac-12 updated their protocols. There's just, it's moving goalposts on that stuff. And, based on the data that they have and how these, with the vaccination and stuff. So I honestly don't know. I honestly don't keep track. I rely on our experts to just tell me, because it's too hard to get in the weeds of figuring out when this person's back, when that person's back, based on their tests. So I just say, hey, who do we have today? When do you think they're going to be back? If they can't commit to that, I said, I'll just go day by day. So I don't know if that helps you, but I've been trying to stay focused on just coaching the team who's there. But the Pac-12 is on it like no other. And Washington State is. Dr. Henry does an incredible job of navigating that landscape, which is not an easy task, as we all know.
And yeah, a lot of schools going through similar things with all these COVID pauses. I guess you feel like it puts you guys behind, or is it at this point, does it just feel like it's one of those things everybody has to kind of expect they'll deal with, that has to happen at some point?
It's unfortunate because, we thought with vaccinations that we'd be kind of bulletproof from these kind of pauses and, having to reset the clock and go with the same, protocols we had last year. It's stressful. It's stressful for everybody, but that doesn't mean the stress doesn't wear on your team, your kids, COVID plus winter plus practice. It wears on them. And, we're a little isolated. I mean, all teams are when the other students aren't here. So it's unfortunate. It'd be nice to be playing games and get better. But I think we're, hopefully we're on track and we don't have any more setbacks.
Yeah. How are guys kind of handling that? That, like you just said, that kind of uncertainty a little bit, and the isolation now just hitting the mid-season. Everybody's kind of home still in Pullman.
Hey, you know what? To be really frank, it's like it's not great for a few guys, and don't want to disclose more than that. It's just it's a challenge, and I think, like I said, being away from home and that stuff, it where it takes its toll, and I think everyone across the country knows that, whether it's you have young kids in school or college age kids, there's been this has changed, a shift, where COVID's affected a lot of things. And I think it's taking a little chunk out of these guys.
And I also wasn't here last week, so I apologize if you've kind of been through this, but when you're assessing the non-conference play, where are some main areas that you like right now to build off of, and what can't you afford to, I guess, keep doing once you hit in Pac-12 play?
I think we just inconsistency, but what we've been good at is we're good defensively, we're good offensive rebounding team, and we've done better job of taking care of the ball, but shot selection and ball handling are areas we need to improve, and then we need to do a much better job on the defensive rebounding. Which is disappointing in the sense that, Coach, we're usually pretty good there, and we've had some slippage, and that's amazing that we've been good defensively and not, because it's tied to being good defensively, is being able to get your missed shots, because offensive rebounds are hard to defend. So we're addressing those things, but you can look at it, if you're a half empty guy, you're going to dwell in the misery of losing close games. If you're a half full guy, you're like, hey, we're close to being. We could have won every game we've played in, and we instead of 8-5, we could be 11-2. We could be whatever. You can make a lot of cases, but I'll go with the Bill Parcells. You are what your record says you are. So we're gonna have to make our luck, and I think improving some of those areas won't put us in those positions of maybe we're up 5, up 7 with 30 seconds to go instead of in a tight ball game because we tighten up some areas.
And last thing for you, with Koulibaly, is he still figuring things out a little bit, or
He's back with us. He's back, and he's actually practicing well. So that gives us some depth there on the perimeter and some quickness that with all the illness and stuff like that, there might be an opportunity for him to get back in there.
why did his role kind of change and start coming off the bench and not playing as much? Is it just getting out a little bit?
It was going to happen to somebody a little bit, and just trying to, we were playing 10, 11 guys, and it's just hard to play that many. And we're, really our 3 guards have been consistently Ty, Mike, and Noah. And Noah can obviously slide in the forward stuff and play smaller, but kind of those 3 guys. And Jeff may not be best in a short role, but that's something you have to learn to do because he's a little bit he can really change a game sometimes either way a little bit, and that's normal for a young guy. Like he can really give us a big lift like he did against Idaho, and I think SC played well, played pretty well. And then he didn't get in there second half much, and maybe not at all, but that's part of growing and getting better. But his talent's good, and his heart's right. He competes hard, so he's just got to figure things out and get better.